Hi everyone, we watched The Last of Us, and now we're gonna talk about it. I thought you were gonna stop me. I thought you were gonna be like,
I just wanted to
"Blah."
see what was going to happen. That was beautiful. I
It's
liked
just
it.
real simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
So yeah, we
short and
watched
sweet.
Last of Us last night at super late because
It's a lot better
Super
than
late.
what we thought it was going to be.
I honestly was surprised. I was not. I came in with no expectations. Literally none. I
Yeah,
was
me
just
too.
like, I
I
don't
came
know
in
what's
with
going to
high
happen.
hopes.
I don't know what's going to happen. I don't. I want to see what they can do with this story, and they met my no expectations. How do I put that? What about you, Gassy? Do you feel like your high hopes were met?
Yes. Actually, they were a bit exceeded, if I'm gonna be honest.
Ooh.
I had false high hopes. Like I was just hyping myself up and being like, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be great. It'll be great. Everything's fine. This is fine. Everything's good. And then turns out everything was good and fine.
Yeah, I particularly liked Joel. I was more than happy with the casting of Pedro Pascal.
I did have concerns and I love Pedro,
mhm.
but I was a little concerned. I was like, I don't know if he can like pull off Joel.
Why? Why is that?
Well, I've seen him as Oberon, and
Mhm.
he was sexy in that, and that was great.
Oh my god.
I've seen him as silly Pedro in that Nicolas Cage movie, but I've
Mhm.
never seen him as. I mean, like Oberon was like a serious role, but it also like kind of like I don't know. He was a handsome man in that, and not
Mhm.
that Joel's not handsome, but it's like it's a different role. It's like a horror role.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I was just worried. I've never seen him in a role like that.
I don't know. Like I've seen Pedro do a lot of different things, weird things, serious things. I guess the two that come to mind are the Nick Cage movie and the Mandalorian. So like he has a range. So I was expecting good things out of him, and he nailed the part, honestly.
Well, for the Mandalorian, you don't see his face, and he's only voice acting.
Yeah, but he's still in the suit.
No, I think he stopped being in the suit
Really?
after season 1. Yeah,
Oh
it's not him
wow.
in there.
I didn't
I
know
think I
that.
could be wrong unless they because the Mandalorian's not supposed to show his face, and I
Yeah.
think he was threatening to pull out and just do voice acting because he wanted to show his face. He didn't want to just be in the
I
suit all the
see.
time, which
I
I thought
see.
was a little silly
Because the
considering the
Mandalorian
role.
has the Creed. Yeah. I was surprised with Marlene. I was like, wait, that's the same lady.
That's a voice actress, yeah.
Yeah.
And I
that
was like,
They couldn't have done any better.
yeah,
they
like
could not have done any
literally
better.
perfect casting. And like she
Yeah.
looks spot on, to be honest with you. Like I barely noticed the difference between the two.
Yeah, and I was like, man, she really sounds like Marlene. I was like, they really nailed the voice.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's just her.
yeah,
It's just
no,
her voice
very it's
actress.
just Marlene.
I know that Hentai had some feelings about Ellie before.
A lot of people did. A lot of people felt that she didn't look the part at all, and I can see that. But and I was a little afraid of like her being too stiff and not really fitting the role of being like witty and snarky and sarcastic Ellie, but uh no, she did fine.
Yeah.
I was surprised. Like I kept my expectations as low as possible for the show in general because I know it had such large shoes to fill.
Yes, it does. It
And
honestly does.
we all saw how like the Halo show came out and like a few other
Yes.
adaptations of shows are just completely bombed. But man, the amount of care and love put into this show is like it's awesome. Like
Just
it wasn't followed like one to one, but in a good way. Like it didn't
I
betray everything. Like everything was changed for I'd say the better. The like the whole section of where you would normally go on that mission to kill Robert or something.
Yeah.
They
Robert.
cut that up in a way that fit this form of media a lot better, because that was more of like oh, here's your first taste of like combat. It's like purely like
like
a
tutorial.
player, or so to speak. Like it's just it fit
Like
way
a tutorial
better.
without being a tutorial kind of
And it
thing.
also like lined up a lot better in the plot as well. So it was like the connecting thread between Marlene, because Marlene was just kind of there and they happened to take the guns from before. Whereas now it's like, well, they fucked us both. Can we work together at least? Like,
it connects a bit better here too, because of how it's like a car battery instead. There's like actual purpose towards it. It's not just like, oh, we were planning on just staying here. Like they were already planning on leaving.
I also like that change as well. I like the change of having giving Joel a reason to leave, because like this one kid is trying to get cross country essentially. Why would this man do this other than what happened in the original game? But now saying,
I guess doing it for the guns wouldn't make sense.
I
but
mean,
part of me is like, I'm not sure I like that change, because I kind of liked him and Tommy having that strained relationship, so that it makes when he arrives to the Wyoming much more like, can I talk to you? Like kind of awkward, you know, like.
I was thinking of that too, and I think it is still gonna be that way. It's just that at the end of the day, it's still his brother and he cares about him, but they still have like a troubled relationship that ultimately led to them splitting up for whatever reason the show may decide.
Which, like, looking forward, I am looking forward to what's coming up. Like everything was like everything. How do I put this? Instead of changing everything, it filled holes. So I wonder if
they flesh stuff out.
If they'll continue to flesh stuff out. Like,
I mean, like it's nice seeing them like change these or fill these holes, but like because it wouldn't have translated well into a show format, because a lot of these holes are there because they were, I guess, in the context of a game.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't have fit the same.
Yes, exactly.
And other than finding like pieces of notes and things like that, it's that's how they fleshed out the world in the game, is you find notes, even if it's reading about like past people who live there. Now they actually have to flesh out more of the world in a different way with the characters.
Yeah.
Because if you just have like flashbacks or just them reading random notes around the place, it's not gonna translate.
Yeah,
well.
there's gonna be a weird disconnect because it doesn't work the same way.
Otherwise, when you're playing at like 1 a.m. in a dark room reading these notes, it's not giving you chills. But if you're watching the show and the characters are experiencing it, then it's like, oh no.
Yeah, because for film it's like show, don't tell, but for games it's do, don't show. They let the player experience it themselves.
And I will say, I do like the pivot from essentially action to more like suspense. I feel like there's a little bit more intrigue going on. There's a little bit more like I don't want to call it waiting, but like there are moments where you're like, oh shit, what's about to happen? Like when they first picked up Sarah and they were kind of like looking to see what was coming out of the building. And then Joel like whacked the grandma. And also another good point, I liked the grandma a lot. Like that was really interesting.
That was good,
like, and like so scary, to be honest with you. You just see this fucking old lady like twisting up and opening her mouth and
crazy, and eating hair.
Can we talk about the like driving sequence when they get into town? Oh my god, that was so good.
It was
so good.
It was already good in the game, but it was already good in the game.
And you know what I like is I don't feel like CGI, at least so far, is being forced down my throat.
Yes.
Like it's not. You know what it isn't? It isn't Resident Evil.
Exactly. That's what I was afraid of when I saw the planes.
How cheesy Resident Evil is, but also I mean I can't stand the movies, but I love how cheesy the games are. but the movies I can't. Like the CGI, like you know what killed it for
I get
me?
that.
Was it 2 or 3 when they started doing the like slow motion but really intense?
Oh yeah.
But it was for
yeah.
like 30 minutes during a fight scene.
Oh my
That
god.
was the last Resident Evil, and I love Mila Jovovich, but I could not. I was like, this is it. I cannot do any more Resident Evil.
So, whatever looks like CGI looks more practical to me. The mouth shit, no, that clearly was CGI, but the wall shit could have been very practical, and it
could have been practical.
It didn't feel CGI if it was, so it at least looked good for what it was.
Yeah, hopefully they have that nice balance of. I mean, even the clickers look great, honestly. At least in the trailer.
Yeah. I was a bit worried after seeing the planes. I'm like, oh, please don't be Resident Evil 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Please don't. Where it's just explosion central. Where it just isn't surprising anymore. But no, every moment was like shocking and hit hard. I'm like, oh my god, this everything's going to shit.
Yeah, because even though you know what's about to happen, it's still like, how is it going to happen? Like that scene with Tess and Robert when they first fucking were talking, and she was like reassuring him, and then fucking this explosion out of nowhere. And it's
that was the only moment I felt like, or I'm like, okay, no more explosions now. That's the last one, right? Because it's starting to get a little old. Because that came out of nowhere and nothing really happened at the end.
Well, it made sense in the context of they mentioned earlier Fireflies have been blowing shit up all over the place.
And then building off
goes
of
out
that.
there. Yeah, and she goes out there and there's the vehicle, so they set the explosive in.
Yeah, for the like that was as far as I was gonna be able to tolerate it. I'm like, that explosion's fine, but let that be the last one, because like,
and
there's only so many. I think it was,
yeah. There was only what?
So that was
I think the plane and that, right, were the only 2 explosions. Yeah. Which the plane, oh my god, that was another one that was like, oh yeah, here comes the truck. It doesn't actually hit them. I'm like, what?
God, and Tess getting like arrested by the soldiers was scary.
Oh my god. I was
like, what are they doing?
I will say, Tess. At first, I was like, "Oh, what they do to you, girl?"
At first, I feel like they took away her spunk because Tess in the game has short hair with a bandana, cut off sleeves. Like she's rowdy looking. This Tess, I mean, she looks like she's lived hard, but it's like not the same. Like, she kind of looks defeated. Yeah, and I don't really like that.
Yeah, me neither. It's not too bad, but like I also don't understand why they included them being like sensual with each other, like in bed. It's like, was that? It's not like horrible or anything. Like, oh god, it's ruined. But it's like,
it definitely was more implicated last time, and I understand that.
One, we're not gonna have like the same kind of like journey with them, so we like some people may not pick up on it.
Yeah, that's another point.
Which I would feel hard to find like that you couldn't pick up on it, but it could also be people who haven't played the game.
Yeah, the banter between them, like I like, especially with how good this first episode was, I feel like they were capable of doing that without like directly showing us, look, they are together, they are snuggling. It's like, I don't think that was necessary.
Some people argue against it. They're like, oh, they're just friends. Like some people just don't pick up on cues like that. So I feel like that was maybe more for people who either didn't play the game or they just wanted to be more like, hey, Tess and Joel are a thing. Like Tess is the only one that's been able to open up Joel's little heart since Sarah, probably.
I mean, to me, I thought it was mostly just like an up in the air thing. Like maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but we'll never know because now she's dead.
Oh. Yeah, now she's dead.
Yeah,
maybe that's why they showed it to us, though. So if she or when she does die, it's going to be more impactful, possibly.
And
I guess it's just
I don't know.
Like it showed that he doesn't try to stay too attached to people already. So I feel like that's kind of pointless if his character. The whole point of his character is that he's desensitized to like attachment to people.
Actually,
she just might be the only one.
I think, actually, like in that scene, they showed that kind of because he didn't snuggle up to her. She snuggled up to him. Like, he completely turned
True.
his back to her, and she was the one who was reaching out.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, some
like-
people like to be small spoon, even a little
Yes,
spoon.
but like Joel also is clearly fucked up. Like, I don't know how much of that he just kind of just lets happen, because like it's just part of relationships. You just kind of do that stuff, and he's just like, well, I guess I get some.
It's happening. Yeah.
I guess, like, all right, let's do it. I can get it up still. All right. Like, it's
I think
more.
that just like
know.
lends more to his guilt, that he feels this sense of like responsibility for like to fulfill her wish to continue this whole thing.
I don't know. I also can't see Joel like putting up a front like that either. I can't see him caring enough to be like, let me pretend to be this guy. I feel like, but maybe it's my hopeless romantic heart, but I feel like it's more like she wormed her way in there.
Yeah,
and then like
that's
like they worked together
too.
for, it's been 20 years, so like maybe after 10 years she finally got like a soft spot, like you know, he got a soft spot.
I wouldn't even
for
say
her.
soft. I would say just like a tolerable spot where he's like, yeah, this is
tolerable
fine,
spot.
I guess.
Well,
like, he's
I'll
not
do
And then I
like
feel
too
like-
invested.
I
don't
mean,
know.
it also, like, there was other points where very clearly, like, he was ready to fight for her honor. Like, the whole part where she was like, Joel, I know you want to go kick his ass. I want to kick his ass too, but we need to be smart about this. Like, that was like, holy shit,
that.
What would Joel do to this man?
That's the other thing. If he didn't have a soft spot for her, then he wouldn't be willing to do that.
And like, oh my god, like I do like what they did with their relationship in the end. There's a lot different, sure, but at the same time, it's like, well, how fucked up is this Joel, and how against relationships is he? Apparently he's not super against it, because someone was able to connect with him. So like, the possibility is there.
I forgot she did have a black eye in the game.
She did have a black eye. Yes.
Yeah. I forgot that she did come up to him. Yeah, and then I was looking at like side by side like stills and stuff, and it showed that, and I was like, oh fuck, that's right. I mean, I forgot that's the whole reason we were gonna go talk to Robert in the first place. I mean, that's the only reason, but like, you know,
our guns.
Another reason why Joel was like, I'm gonna kill him.
It's another thing I was worried about, is the delicate act of like reenacting some key moments in the show. Like, for example, the like, honey, this watch doesn't work joke thing, without being like one-to-one, like, hey, remember this? But they did a great job of like
it was
making
all very
it
smooth.
somewhat their own thing. Like even, I don't know how to explain it, because there are other shows that try to do that, where it's like they try to hit every mark, but they do it a little too on the nose, to the point where it's like, it feels like the whole show depends on it being exactly like the source material. While here, it does so tastefully. Like, even the shot where Joel and Sarah are falling down that hill, or rolling down that hill, that was like spot on as well, but like in a way that like was, I guess, satisfying.
I guess
didn't feel cheesy.
It didn't feel forced.
Subtle callback versus like an overt callback, like something that if you're paying attention, you'll see it. But otherwise, like, it's just a good viewing pleasure. An example I would call back to is Adventures of Tintin. The title sequence through like the first minute or so is just all callbacks, but you don't see it that way when looking at it. It's just like, oh shit, this is some of his adventures. These are some of the people he interacted with. Motherfucking the original author of Tintin is the artist who is drawing him in that scene. Yeah, like there's so many subtle little things that you can notice in that scene if you're an actual fan. But for everyone else, this is just a good scene.
Yeah, without it being like super in your face, like, hey, look, this is exactly the same thing. Aren't you happy?
This is what you wanted.
Another good adaptation is it's not a video game to movie though, so it's a little bit harder. But like is the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo movies, the original trilogy movies that are from like in Sweden and stuff.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And those do a really good job of not straying far from the book.
Okay.
Like there's differences, but it's like unless you read the book, you really wouldn't know, and it's all very smooth. Which I appreciate because I usually hate book to movies.
Who doesn't?
Something I was also afraid of, just I guess working off of the the same thing of them coming too close to the same material that it came from is replicating scenes, but like doing so in a way that like completely misses the point of what made it good in the first place. Like
oh yeah,
in Ghost of the Shell, the very first scene where the main character is looking over the city, she's like, she has a purpose of being there, like she's scanning over everything. But in that awful live action, please don't watch it. It's she's just like, the reveal isn't her scanning the city. The reveal is, hey, look, we got Scarlett Johansson. And that is like the worst thing they could have done. Is like a huge disconnect between what made that shot, that whole scene so good. Yeah, and like a simple change, like her, like she didn't even have her visor on. She was just standing there for no reason. So like they could have at least had like it on and she takes it off and then do the reveal. Like subtle, like such small changes like that can go a long way instead of just completely defeating the whole purpose of what made that scene good in the first place. And they do that a lot in that movie, and that's something I was afraid of when it came to this show.
Yeah, I feel like so far they've done a fantastic job.
Oh, phenomenal job.
Yes. I will say,
and all this care makes me put emphasis on why the sequel is also really good.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of care in the world.
Fucking Gassie's a fucking Last of Us 2 apologist. Here we go.
Apologist? I'm not apologizing for fucking shit.
Okay, defender, whatever, like... I'm just making a joke. But no.
Well, it's a dumb joke.
You're dumb. But no, I definitely look forward to it when like my biggest complaints about the show are shitty little details that I know would have been super difficult to work in. Like I remember screaming about the backpack flashlights that they had. Like I thought those were the coolest things ever in the game.
Yeah, you had to nitpick to complain.
Exactly. Like it was a joking nitpick, but I still would have appreciated if they had the cool little backpack lighter flashlights. Why am I calling them lighters? What the fuck?
Because they produce light.
Yes. Probably. I'm just big dumb.
It reminds me when Rookie couldn't think of the word knife, so he said cutter.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's
hilarious. Oh, Rookie.
But yeah, no. So far, only good things. Overarching plot good, visuals good, suspense good. Like soundtrack spot on. I don't think we mentioned the soundtrack at all. But I mean, like
cinematography.
The soundtrack made me so excited.
Yes. Like one thing I did say to Gassy during was that I believe that this Boston isn't an apocalypse. I didn't notice that the Boston in the game, it didn't feel quite the same as like a rundown. It felt like a normal city. I will say it was super crowded in this version.
I did not understand how you felt that way at all. Because I was like, what are you talking? Like, the Boston in a game is even worse. Like, especially when you're going on your way to find Robert and you go to the little underground place. Or not underground, but like black market, essentially.
The black market was grungy, but the main area of Boston was not at all. It felt like a normal city block. And I guess
it looked gross to me.
It didn't feel that grungy, but that's personal opinion at that point. Like,
yeah.
I
was like, this place is bad.
I did like that they showed that Joel toils to get his shit done, even though like he makes more than enough. It feels like it seems like he still needs to scrounge up every little bit he can. Yeah.
I love the short scene of them burning bodies and
Yeah.
what was it? Tess couldn't do it, or someone couldn't do it when
Was
it
it?
came to that kid.
I don't think it was Tess.
That was
I
not
thought
Tess.
it was
Someone
for a
else.
moment.
I
No,
think that was
it
just a random woman.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
just
love that
seeing
she's
how
like, I can't.
seeing how he was totally okay with it, like he's like, I'll do it. It's fine.
The
Like he's used to it. Like, he's
desensitization.
completely desensitized,
Yeah.
and I like seeing that. How quickly he's changed. Well, I mean, to the audience, how
The
it
20
can
years have
show.
passed.
Yeah, the 20
Mhm.
years have passed in like such a simple, subtle way, without
You know what?
like explicitly saying like, "Oh, I don't care about anything anymore." It's just like,
Yeah,
no,
he didn't have to be
just
like,
show it.
fuck it.
Yeah,
It was the
yeah.
fact that he was quiet and just did it.
Mhm.
Yep.
The show respects the intelligence of the audience, and it is such a breath of fresh air compared to how many shows like have to blatantly explain everything to
I
the audience
hate
like they're
when they.
stupid. Oh, I hate it. It
Yeah.
ruins the show. It's like, I could have figured that out myself with just
Yeah.
context.
Yep. And
You know what I think all three of us have a complaint about?
Mhm.
And it's not even for like during the show, it's for like the behind the scenes as the director
God.
Yeah, that
saying
was
Ellie
so
is
strange.
if you see Sarah was crying and Sarah was scared.
That
But
was
over here, Ellie is activated. And I was like, I
Like
don't
activated.
I'm gonna pull up
and
that
her
clip
Yeah, I was
because
like,
that
what do you
clip was
mean?
weird. Oh my god,
Yeah,
I don't know.
because like
Which makes me concerned what they're going to do with Ellie's character. Because
Yeah.
Ellie's not even in the sequel, she's brutal, but she has a reason to be brutal.
She's not just
Yeah,
doing
it's
it
not
because she
just, like-
enjoys it. Like it's not a
yeah.
it's not a
When we
saddest
get to
moment.
the flashbacks of like their life on the place, like you see Ellie is not a brutal person
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
at all.
Ellie seeing Joel kill that guy towards the end of the first episode, like what I saw was Ellie getting a taste of the real world for the first time and
Yep.
kind of processing everything, like borderline traumatizing in a sense.
Mhm.
Like she's just processing, like she's spacing out. And I'm like, that's a
Yeah.
good look. That's like spot on what I think would be accurate. But
Yeah.
the director, whoever was talking, was like, "Oh, it's like she loves to see that she's being defended." I'm like, "What are you talking about? I didn't get that feeling at all."
Yeah, like I mean, it's one thing to be like relieved. I wish he had said relieved that she was being defended instead of them killing her because she was like
I
technically
guess, but-
infected.
Yeah, it didn't seem
It's
like
just
an
so
enjoyment
weird.
moment. It
But
was
that's
more
not
of like,
yeah.
what is happening? Is that guy gonna be okay? No.
Because if that's what they were going for, they failed miserably.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Which I'm glad. I
because
don't want anything
Yeah.
else.
No.
yeah, it thought it was fine the way it seemed, which is just her spacing out because it's
Mhm.
just too much happening.
Yeah.
That makes the most sense. Like she's developing for the first time because she's never stepped foot outside, or outside of these walls. I assumed at least.
Yeah,
But-
I don't
Yeah,
think
because she
she
said we
has.
were outside when
Yeah.
stood up like an idiot, which I'm like, you're fucking dumb, but it makes sense for a kid to do that. Like a kid would be like, "Oh, we're outside. Let me look around."
I'm
and then,
thinking they're gonna have the Fireflies find her after her and Riley almost died.
Oh, okay. So like you think like Left Behind will
Because-
end with her being found and captured by the Fireflies, correct?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
thinking they're gonna change it like that because how else? Like, who would Ellie tell that she was even infected or like
Mhm.
bit but immune, and then like they kept doing tests on her and stuff like that. That's my theory, though. I don't know what they're gonna do. Plus, like,
Yeah.
why do they have her chained up?
Well,
Mhm.
from what I could tell, they were testing to make sure that she was not turning because it's the
Well,
first
exactly. So that's why I'm like, I think maybe.
time. Hmm. So,
I don't know.
like her value shot up for them because they're like, literally,
Yeah.
like when Kim was like, "What the fuck are we doing?" and she's like, "Bitch," and shows her the
We're
paper.
fucking following orders. That's what the fuck you're doing.
And
Just
she just
follow orders. We're doing this for freedom. Isn't that ironic?
Yeah, really.
And then the fucking paper show, and she's like, "Oh dear, oh god, okay, let's do it." Like the immediate turnaround after realizing like the weight. I think
That is a thing I noticed that they changed, is that we don't find out about how shitty Marlene is until like way later.
That's true.
Towards the end.
Yeah,
that's
But
true.
because in the
here we
beginning we're
find
like,
out-
wow.
Yeah, here we find out like right away.
That she'll do anything
Yeah.
to quote unquote save the world.
Yeah, it's just like, don't ask questions, just
Do as you're
just
told.
follow orders. And I'm like, wow, Marlene, that's quick already. We're getting this side of you.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it like I find out weird because like it was supposed to be kind of a reveal to see how shitty she really is. But I guess we'll see.
I guess we will see.
Yeah, we will see.
So I think that's good enough.
Yeah, I
Let-
think that was good.
Let us know what you think about the show down below in the comments. Let us know if you agree with us. Let us know if you think we're dumb, stupid, poopy heads.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
and there's no gray area. You either agree with us or you think we're no, just kidding.
There is none. There is only agree and disagree. And also let us know what you thought about some of the casting choices as well, because that I'm curious about that. Like specifically Sarah, I guess, would be the one. We barely talked about her, huh?
Yeah,
'cause
she's fine. Like,
she
did.
It's Sarah.
Yeah, she did her job, which was fine. And like honestly, spot on with the death scene. I really like that. It wasn't.
Oh,
Yeah, like she did really well. But I know some people were reacting at first because of the switch, but didn't really change anything.
Did not change anything.
It didn't change
If anything,
anything.
I mean, them casting like Pedro, I can appreciate that they didn't make Tommy a white guy.
Yeah, Tommy
Like
is definitely
they
Hispanic,
made it made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
well, yeah, definitely. Like, but
in the end,
like,
it was just a nothing burger in my opinion. Like at first, I was kind of like, wait, why did they do that?
Yeah,
What's the
I
point?
feel like people freak out too much. Like, I really think it's a case of this person auditioned better than this person.
Yeah.
And then with Pedro, they probably like, because we don't ever see the mom, so why even have her look like the mom? Because I feel like Sarah looks like the mom in the game, you know, like,
Yeah, like
blonde
they modeled
hair,
her, yeah.
like, you know. But in this one, like, it feels more. I mean, shit, he would be upset that his little like mini me just got shot in his arms.
Yeah.
So yeah, just let us know how y'all feel. And how
And-
much you love Texas, obviously.
Obviously, because Texas is amazing and there's guns everywhere.
Obviously, we had the outbreak first, so
Did
y'all
it really
can
start
suck it.
in Houston? Like, is that confirmed? Like,
it is
Houston.
not confirmed.
I would have
But
been surprised that it started in Texas, and if